I'm afraid I'm not really cut out for the modern world.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Modern World powered by New Thinking. I'm your host Jay Pearson and my co-host on this amazing journey so far is Ross Chanley.
Hi Jay, you've sold this pretty good already, so no pressure.
No pressure on this episode, mate. I'm not going to ask you how you are or how you're feeling because I have spoken to you about 67 times today, so we're just going to get straight into it, mate, okay?
Yeah, please do. I hope this helps. I hope this helped me more than anyone else. I don't care about anyone who's listening. I need this.
You need this today. Absolutely. So today's episode, the main crux of it, obviously people have clicked on it from the actual title, is we're going to be talking about, clubs versus pubs, nightlife and that sort of thing. That's our subject for this week to basically have a good moan about. So we're going to get into that pretty soon. But first things first, mate, as we do every week, social media pet peeve. What have you got for me this week?
I think you'll agree with me on this one. I think you agree with me most weeks. I don't know why I said that. But mine was premeditated reactions or people filming reactions to something that they either know is coming or something that's happening. So I know you got annoyed at something the other day, which was there was a woman up the ladder, she was painting. There happened to be a camera in the living room. Kid comes in, shoots her in the backside. She falls over, paint, blah blah blah. But there's so many examples of things like that, and it's quite big within football. Obviously, we both moved in that circle for quite a while, but you're starting to see it more and more. But it's like, if they concede a goal and they've already got the phone in the hand, and then like they're reacting to something, but it's almost like a false reaction because they're reacting for the camera, not the natural reaction. And I don't. It's not just a football thing. It's just you see it a lot on social media. Of I saw a woman the other day. It was she put her phone down on the floor and she was sat on a step, was crying, and then like a horse came up to her and cuddled her. But then you've gone to the lengths of being upset about something, crying, and then go, I know what I'll do. I'll just go and put my phone down on the floor and hit record and then post it. And then I don't even know what she was crying about, but it's irrelevant what she was crying about. Cry in your own time.
Yeah, I mean, that one that I saw with the woman painting and then the kid reacting and everyone sharing it, I'm like you had no paint on you. It's convenient there, and then like this ridiculous scream. And yeah, I agree with you, mate. It's filming stuff for reactions. And you go back to the football thing and it can be anything that happens on TV and people do it for reactions. And you can see the skyboxes on rewind. So you know blatantly that it's all fake. And I did comment once on a Tottenham supporters sort of Instagram where the lad had the remote in front of the camera and the caption read, "Love it when I do this to me dad," and they were about to take a free kick or something, and as they took the free kick he turned it off and he like oh what are you doing, like that. And it was so obvious that it was rehearsed. Anyway, I comment and I commented, I was like, yeah, it's completely fake. And then I got abused for it, saying leave them alone, what's wrong with it, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, just don't be false for likes. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's like a natural, and that's one of the beauties of social media. When something's natural or unexpected, and you just happen to capture it. The technology of mobile phones, if we're able to do that now, or everyone can technically be a journalist because you can just be out somewhere and something happens and you can record it. But like you said, it's that kind of staged, false. I'm doing this for likes, and it's the same thing with people who are at football and spend most of the time recording the match. Or, I've mentioned this one before, of going to a gig and recording half the gig. Who are you recording it for?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You pay all that money to go to a live event and then not live in the world of, what's happening right in front of you. But it's okay because 60 people looked at your Instagram story and went, oh, look at him having a good time, but he feels the need to share it on social media so that people outside his life actually care about them.
I went to watch Limp Bizkit a few weeks ago, and I could see loads of people just with the phones out and recording it. And don't get me wrong, I've done it myself over time, but obviously the older I get, the more miserable I'm getting. And I was like, I just wanted to be there in the moment and just watch them and not record it, and then having to watch it back.
Did you lose yourself?
Did I lose myself? That's an Eminem song.
In the moment.
Oh, you're doing it again. Trying to pour me out here, and you're just not listening. You're just taking the mick, Ross. I can't
carry
deal.
on. Go on. There's people with the phones out with Limp Bizkit.
Anyway, you make a good point, mate. Just be in the frigging moment. You know what I mean? Just put your phone away. Take a couple of photos. Fine. Get one video. Fine. But don't pay all that money to go to a gig and then just watch it through your window of your phone. It's absolutely pointless. So yeah.
And how often would you look back at that video? Does anyone ever go back through the photos and videos and then go, oh yeah, that 3 second clip I did when I was drunk was really good? You just end up binning it, and then you missed like you said, you missed a real moment in life.
Yeah, it's true. It's really true. I need to stop getting really drunk at gigs as well, because like I look back and I go, God, I can't remember being there. So I'm like, So my pet peeve of the week is sheep opinions. Now, what I mean by this is people on social media that agree with others on an opinion just because it's the fashionable thing to do. Is I'll just agree with that. Like it's the fashionable thing to not like a certain thing, even though secretly they might like it. They just don't want to be seen as the outsider to have that opinion. And I think I'm relating this mostly to football, where a lot of people will say they dislike a player because most people dislike said player, when really they probably actually like them, but they're too scared to say, I actually like him, because they're frightened of getting a tirade of abuse from it, because it's not the fashion thing. So a lot of people just follow other people's opinions just because it's a sheep thing. Do you get what I'm saying? I've not explained that quite well.
Yeah. And I don't know, but also it's an alternative pet peeve. There would be piling on people for having a different opinion.
Yes.
But that's what social media is. Someone says something different and everyone goes, well, I don't like that. And like, to your point, people will get abused for having a different opinion rather than someone trying to understand it. So if he is, it's antisocial. No one, it's called social media, but no one wants to listen to someone else's opinion on something. And again, it's all dependent on language and how you put that across. But it's really hard in, I don't know, 160 characters or whatever it is these days, 200, whatever, to kind of do that. But everyone just, because you can't ascertain tone within that. Everyone just assumes that you're having to go at each other because that's what you do on social media. So rather than going, Jay, you like X player, I go, well, actually, I don't quite like them. I think we could improve and whatever. And you go, oh, okay, that's a fair point. But instead, it's no like Jay likes X player. Wait, why'd you like him? He's rubbish. You're accepting mediocrity and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, what?
And that's where I've picked it up from, mostly from football, because people would rather say that than just have an opinion of themselves, and it's scary in a way, because individuality sort of disappearing, and I don't like it. And people say about films, people say, oh, what's your favorite film ever, or what's the best film of all time, and most people go, oh, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. Her great films, they really, really are. But it's the most common answer, because people don't really want to say, oh, my favorite film's bloody, I don't know, whatever it is, and to be embarrassed by it, and it just frustrates me a little bit, where I just go, just have a bit of balls, will you?
What is your favourite film?
Back to the Future 2.
I know, I knew that. I was joking.
I know. Well, I'm sick of your jokes, mate.
But I can say that's not my favourite film, Jay. But I can appreciate why that is your favourite film, and I know that you like it so much. But I actually prefer some other film. I couldn't even name a film then.
I was going to say it's going to be difficult for you, mate.
Yeah. I like Scarface, but then again, even if that thing of I think such and such film is the best, not favourite. I think it's the best film. Nobody's wrong. It's an opinion. It's fine.
Exactly. So yeah,
good call.
I just can't be doing with. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Right, moving on. Right, Ross, this week's icebreaker question is hot off the press, and I mean that by, I thought of it 5 minutes before we started recording, based on the main topic of the podcast, with it being nightlife. But I've always wondered, what's your favourite tipple? What's your favourite beer or alcoholic beverage when you're on a night out?
I think, well, it's definitely changed throughout my lifetime, because I used to be a really massive fan of Jack Daniels, and I just drink that would be fine. Mm-hmm. And then something happened and just don't agree with it. And then probably the same things happen with beer. I have kind of Peroni, Moretti, what's the new one that everyone loves now? Madri. Those sorts of kind of, lagers basically. I'd say a nice lager, but obviously I try and avoid the kind of, not a fan of Amstel, not a fan of Heineken, none of the cheap nonsense. Give me the higher rate stuff. But then the next day, I don't drink. I couldn't tell you the last time that I had a beer. It was probably well over a month ago. But I know I'm going for a few beers tonight, and I know I'll have 3 or 4 beers, and I'll be hungover tomorrow. So I need to. I think is it better to moderate? Is it better for me to drink more and moderate it so my body can handle it? Is that?
I couldn't tell you, mate, because I'm not the best drinker myself. Got to be honest. And when I go the match with the lads, and they're they're in their 50s and 60s, they can drink. and they're like 8-pint days of Coors or Carling, and I can't keep up. I really can't keep up with them because I'm a bit like you. Lager doesn't really massively agree with me. I can do like 4 or 5, and then I've got to like switch. I've got to like go on to shorts or just not do lager at all. And just when on a match day, I usually stick to like a Copperberg or a Recorder Lig or something like that, just because it's easier to drink. And then I'll switch to shorts, and then I'm less likely to have a hangover the next day. What I'm more partial to now as I've got older is I'm liking all the sort of the hip, cool IPA type stuff now, like just trying different beers like that. Like one of my favourites at the minute is Club Tropica by Tiny Rebel. It's absolutely amazing, and I get a keg of it.
Is that drink free?
In some places it is, yeah. Wish we had the rights to play the music now. Do you know what? I can just hear my mate Danny Rooney listen to this now, singing it in his car because it's one of his favourites. So yeah, I just love Club Tropica. It's really, really nice, sweet IPA, but it does get you off your rocker. So like I'll got one of them perfect draft machines in my house, and I do get a keg of it every now and then. And it's just really, really nice to have and enjoy, especially in the summer. It's a nice beer. So I like all them funky ones now. They're really good, but they're obviously not sold everywhere. So you're sort of restricted. But it's gone from the days, isn't it, when you were a kid, when you first started going out, like, what do you want? I'll have a Foster's, mate. Get us a Foster's in, lad.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, good on you for being adventurous and trying them. Like, it's probably just me all over, to be honest. I just like, I know what I like and I know what I want, and I'm not changing my mind. But there's always a risk with those kind of IPAs. And it's like, for me, that's just like looking at a wine list, and it's like, there's red and white in my head. And that's it. Or cooking wine. And they may as well be the same. But like, I look at that and they go, oh yeah, I'll try. That sounds quite nice. So for orange, crisp, sweet IPA, that sounds lovely. I have 2 sips of it and go, no, don't like it.
Then you've wasted a fiver.
Wasted the fiver on a beer that I don't want. Whereas just go, yeah, I'll have a Peroni, love.
Yeah. No, again, mate, that was my sort of beer fear at the beginning when I started drinking it, because it wasn't until a mate of mine took me to a place in York, and you could get like a taster tray. And that was probably the wrong terminology, but basically for the price of a pint or a little bit more, you could get like thirds of 3 beers.
Yeah.
So you could just try them. Yeah. And a lot of places now, they will actually for free give you a little taster, so you can just try it beforehand. Right. So those
just try
types
one of each, be hammered for free.
Yeah, there's a few places where I live that do that, and it is really good because like they always change to a session IPA, and there's always a few different ones. So like you said, you read the menu and you think that actually sounds really nice. You can have a little taster. They'll give you a little taster, and then if you like it, you get a full pint of it. I mean, it's worth the try, mate. I mean, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll treat you to a couple of cans of Club Tropica and this Tiny Rebel Jam Donut one, and see what you think. Okay. And then
that's the other thing. And normally, I can taste the difference between bottled draft and tins.
Oh yeah,
and for a long time, I wasn't into cans.
Don't like cans.
No.
Bottles or draft
or bottle.
Have we got a favourite? Did we pick a favourite then from you?
I'll just go Peroni.
Can't go wrong with Peroni. So yeah, Peroni for you, and at the minute, that Club Tropica for me, definitely. Right, bud. So you came up with the topic this week, but when you mentioned it to me at first, I was a bit like, "Oh well, I don't really go out anymore." So like, what am I going to talk about? But things just started.
Point of the podcast.
Yeah. Things just started flooding to me, and I was just like, "Oh my god, yeah!" There are so many things on a night out that really, really do my head in. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was I went into Liverpool 2 weeks ago on a Saturday. And we went during the day. Now, I'm more of a day drinker now. I'd rather go on a day sesh than a nighttime sesh because, one, I can get home at a reasonable hour and get in bed for a reasonable hour, and I'm less likely to have a bad hangover because I cannot be bothered doing everything you need to do all day and then going out for a night out and staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Can't do that anymore. Yep. So I was well up for this day session that we arranged, and we went out, and besides the company, I hated it from the second we got out. We went straight to the Alchemist. Already I was fuming because I'm not a fan of the Alchemist because I think it's just overpriced nonsense. It might as well be called, come in this pub, take a picture of our weird cocktails with candy floss in and bloody syringes, put it on your Instagram and act like you're the only person that's ever been the Alchemist before. And I swear to God, mate, it gets in there, 4 drinks, 33 quid. Absolutely ridiculous. And then there was about 3 or 4 hen parties in there at the same time. And all I did was watch 15 girls around the table. Every single one of them had the phones out taking pictures of each cocktail and shoving it on social media. The Alchemist hasn't just opened, it's been open for years. The people who have seen that on your Instagram have been the Alchemist and done that themselves. So they have poured their little drink over the candy floss and melted it. Seen it before. They've injected whatever the shit is in that bloody syringe into it. They've seen it all before. And they spend half the time on the phones taking pictures of stuff for the Alchemist rather than frigging drinking it. But then again, it makes it last longer, so you're not spending another 33 quid. Initial rant over.
From Alchemist, though, it's a stroke of genius, isn't it? Because that's what you want, and you get these sorts of things now with like kind of these flowery settings with like pink neon lighting of like, you know, dance like you're blind or whatever.
Dude,
the cheesy,
so
crappy
right.
saying might be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But that's what it's for. Just to hook people in. I had a mate. We've been best mates for like, I don't know, 17 years or something like that. And we've got like a list of places to go. There's some new place in Formby. It was. And she's like, oh, it's like the food looks lovely. She said, but it's a bit of an Instagram place. And I was like, no, for the very reason of that. I also have a bit of breaking news for you. We've just lost a potential sponsor in Alchemist. I think after that.
Listen, it's nothing on Alchemist themselves, right? You know, like you said, the concept is great, but my word, it's OTT. Like, I was lucky to get in there when it was, you know, there was a couple of hen parties in, but there was loads more after we got our first drink. So we got to the bar and it was, there was no one at the bar, so I was quite lucky. But how long it takes to make these cocktails, I'm like, you're there for, like, you want to go in there when it's busy. You're not getting a drink.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting at the bar for ages to get to it if it's 4 or 5 deep. And then you're waiting to have your bloody drink mix for you. I mean, again, fair play, but it's just not for me. And obviously, Becky is quite supportive of my moaning, and and then we were laughing about the flowery entrance bit where people were taking the photographs and stuff like that. And as we were leaving, there was a flowery thing, and Becky just looked at me and said to her mate, Steph, come here. Let's get a picture here. And I just looked at her and went, are you absolutely taking the mickey? She went, yeah, I'm doing it just to annoy you. And I went, go on, take your little flowery photo, put it on Instagram and all that. I was like, oh, I had to walk out, me. I walked out and waited outside for her. Give me a day session over a nighttime session any day. But again, it was, I think, again, the most annoying thing about going out was the people. It was just driving me insane. And then we went up Matthew Street and it was great. But, you know, again, you go into certain bars and you're paying £8 for a drink that's in the smallest glass ever. And by the time you've got back to your seat, because you've took a couple of swigs, it's gone. And you got to go back and get another one. Yeah. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And then there's places where it's too bloody loud and you can't hear yourself think or talk. So the 4 of you just sat there in silence, drinking your drink because you can't have a conversation because it's too loud. Christ, listen to me.
I have never been into clubbing for that reason. Like, should we go and do something? It's like when you go to the cinema on a first date. But it's like, should we arrange to do something? Yeah. Should we go somewhere we can't hear each other so we can't interact? Yeah. Great. If you want to go with a cigar with someone that you don't like, great. But yeah, I was thinking today, I think the main issue is with most things in life is people. When we see anything we talk about, the main issue is people. But I also think, you know, you can go to some places and then you go to pubs that don't clean the lines, and then like you end up with like a beer. That's what gives you a hangover is that stuff. Then there's bars that are like sticky flooring, and you just like it's just disgusting. And yeah, all right, thanks. I went out a couple of weeks ago. I told you the story about the lad who basically just quit his job when he didn't have to because he was giving false information. Yeah, but I went out with him, and we must have had like five pints. Must have gone out 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe a little bit earlier. And I was home for 7 o'clock, and I fell asleep on the sofa at 7:30, and then I had a hangover.
You know, I look back at when I was like, 18, 19, 20, and you're going out every weekend, and you know where I live, it's pretty decent for just to go out. It's convenient. It's on your doorstep, and everywhere you go, you see someone you know. So it was pretty decent for that back in the day, and I could stay out till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and absolutely loved it. And there was like clubs and stuff like that. Whereas now I'll avoid those places. Because you're always that time when you go in to these places that you went into 20 years ago, and then you're the oldest one in there, and you go in. Why are we still out for a start? 'Cause it's like 12 o'clock. Let's just get out of here. And do you know what? Again, the same songs were still playing. You know what I mean? Like I went in and I'm like, they're still playing The Killers, Mr. Brightside. Welcome to the Jungles, Come On by Guns N' Roses. I'm like, is this the same CD? Give me just normal everyday pubs. Give me them. You know, you're going on a night out and you're going to go to 4 or 5 of them. maybe a couple of nice little bars as well, and that's what we've got round here, and it works.
And do you know what? Do you know what the youth do today?
What do the youth do today, Ross?
This is like this still blows my mind. So I know this because I went to university like 7 years ago, and this is what everyone was doing. But they have like, say, like we'd finish work on a Friday perhaps, and then you go home, get changed, and you'd be out by like, I don't know, 6-7 o'clock. You'll be in the pub, or maybe on a Saturday night or whatever it may be, or maybe even a week, whatever. And then, like you said, you'd be home for like 10-11 o'clock, maybe 12, and then you're back at it the next day. They all have drinks at like someone's house or something, or prees.
No.
Educating our listeners here. Prees, let's have prees somewhere.
Pre-drinks.
Which works out cheaper. It's not just students, but obviously younger people. Works out cheaper. You can go to Tesco and get yourself a crate of beer or pre-made cocktails or whatever. It's got pretty much no alcohol in it. Stay at someone's house till like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then they go out.
I don't understand it at all. I don't get it. And you've mentioned a phrase there that has grinded my gears for the best part of 15 years, where I can't stand the phrase pre-drinks. Oh, we're having pre-drinks at X person's house before we go out. Get a life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with drinking in someone else's house before, but label it pre-drinks. It's like, ugh, it makes me teeth itch.
It's not pre-drinks, it's just prees. That's a prees at mine.
There you go. So it's evolved now to prees. They can't even be our same pre-drinks now. It's just prees. Nice one.
I've got a mate, and we both lived in the same town, and we were going on a night out with some uni friends in Manchester. And then she's obviously asking what time I'm going out and stuff, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll meet you there. Like I'll get there at 10." And she said, "I'm just going to stay out and get the first train home." I was like, "Why would you do? Why would you go for a full night out and then get an hour train back and just like put yourself through that?" I was like, "No, I want to be tucked up in my bed with like me 2 paracetamol, my pint of water before I do go to sleep, so I don't have a hangover in the morning."
Yeah, and I tell you what, the last sort of couple of years when I've been doing a full day at the football, or I have gone on a night out or anything, I have done the whole pint of water, paracetamol, bed thing, because someone told me that, and I did it, and I was like, oh my God, it works. And then the next morning, pint of water and a banana, and I was like, I felt so much better. Tip for people out there, they probably already know that anyway, but I tell you what, one thing I do love about a night out, though, is the end of night food, because you're always starving. So that trip to Mackey's or the kebab place, and you order more than what you got eyes bigger than your belly. That is always epic. That is always really, really good. Yeah. And to be fair, that's how me and my wife got together. So, even though she ate all my food.
What, Mackey's?
No, we're on a night out, and I bumped into her in a couple of the bars. Like I said, it's a small town, so every time you move to different pubs, you see each other. So saw her a couple of times, and then me and my mate were in the pizza shop at the end of the night, and she'd walked past the pizza shop, saw that we were in there, and turned back around and came back in, and then we were just having a chat, and then I was ordering food, but then she kept ordering more. So I would order a pizza, and she's like, "Oh, get a burger as well. Oh, get some onion rings. Get this, get that." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever you want." And then like just
did you know her before that, or did she just some random walked in and started ordering more food for you?
No, I'd known her as a sort of a friend for a few years, a friend of a friend, and so I'd seen her on the night out earlier on. We weren't out together. It's just we bumped into each other in a bar, and we were talking about Download Festival and stuff like that. And then I saw her in another bar later on in the night, and there was nothing in it. It was just like, yeah, see you later, that type of thing. And we were going home, and that was that. But like what I'm saying is, if she hadn't walked past that kebab house, if she just walked past and didn't see us, then it probably wouldn't be here now.
Wow. Fate, mate. I'm a big believer in fate.
But then she'd ordered all my food and then ate it all on the way home when we walked her home, and just ate the lot. Loved her from that moment.
Yeah, you're happily married with the child now. If it wasn't for her eating your burger, then like you said, who'd have known? I'm a massive believer in fate, mate.
Yeah, me too. God bless crazy fast foods. Love it. But
I love the fact you've chosen to appreciate the food place where you got your food from and not your wife. Not like, God bless her for walking past. God bless that burger.
Yeah. Right, mate. Well, we got some suggestions, didn't we, of things that annoy people. So you got sent some, and then I got quite a few in the Facebook group. So let's go. Run me through yours first.
I did, yeah. Not on purpose, just by fault. But Amelia was very happy to talk about this and has several. So I'll just list these off.
Okay.
When club DJs only play not even half of the song before mixing it into something else.
Yes. That is so annoying.
I don't mind that.
What? No, you're halfway through a song and it's like a song that you really like, and then all of a sudden he switches it to something else. Nah, Do one, pal.
Yeah, but if it's a bit of a Ricka Ricka remix, then
Like the 5 mega mix, that's really good. The Grease mega mix is really good, but don't like start playing half a song and then just move into something else. Totally agree with her. I'm with Amelia on that one.
okay. People who purposely push and elbow other people when dancing. So I've got a story about that actually.
Go on then.
I've got two stories. I went to a Radiohead gig with my parents probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I'm a brother, sorry. And we were quite close to the front. We must have been like kind of second row, but there was kind of like most gigs you start to find this now of like just like kids who just like don't give a crap and they start like pushing in and moving everyone. But because we were so close to the front, my dad was clapping to the song, but when he clapped and went to put his elbows back, he was just like going off like as hard as he could to elbow the person behind him because they were annoying him. And then I went to a festival last year and I saw the Strokes. And they had like a kind of it was a bit back from the stage, but it had like a fencing thing. So me and my brother were at the front. There's people going around and they were wedging people.
Oh, nice.
Just like
Nice.
for no reason. So I was just like, we waited 15, 20 years to see the Strokes and someone gave me a wedgie.
Nice.
People stealing accessories from you while you're wearing them.
Yeah, that's a random one. I think I know that happens in the like 80s bars like Reflex and Flares where they give out like big glasses and necklaces and stuff like that and inflatable stuff, and then random people pinch them off you. Yeah, I don't get that because you wouldn't do that when you were sober to someone randomly in the street. So yeah, we won that one.
Yeah, and it's like being drunk. It's an absolute license to be an absolute.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree.
I don't because I can relate to this one. Banging on toilet doors.
Yeah,
not sure what Amelia's up to in those toilet doors, but thanks for that one. Alternatively, girls who are having a DMC in the toilet when you need to go.
What is a DMC? The only DMC I know is the DeLorean Motor Company.
So I learned this today. I learned it's something. DMC is deep, meaningful chat. So I'm guessing that women go like pens and a pen when they go into the cubicle, and when you need to go and do your business, you can't because they're all talking about he said that, she said that, you said that, he said that, you said that, he said.
A DMC, that's called?
Deep, meaningful chat, yeah. I thought it was a new drug. Apparently and this one made me laugh because it just made me think of a song. She put vaping on the dance floor.
Who's doing that?
Like,
Sophie Ellis
Bextor? Kill the groove. Yeah.
It's vaping on the dance floor. And to be fair, Amelia, all of them are absolutely bangers. I'm banging on the toilet doors.
Banging on the toilet door. Groove. Michael says, people who grab you by the hips/sides when they're moving past you in crowded place, please get your hands off me.
Yeah, get off.
Would you not someone rather gently grab you on the hips than kind of like barge past you or just move your shoulders or arms or...
Just tap on my back, tap on my arm. There's no need to go near my hips. No.
Oh, I've just thought of something else that annoys me. Natalia says the way the different rules for girls versus guys to get into clubs in terms of entry fees, but then guys are also often the ones buying the drinks. No sense of equality, and the girls take it as an expectation and always have free nights out. Where's the sense of equality? It's a serious point, but I actually think it's true.
Yeah, it's damn true. It's very, very, very different.
Can't have equal rights and have free drinks, I'm afraid. Not in my world.
Absolutely not.
I'm happy to buy drinks, though.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But again, it's sort of the expectation, isn't there? So I do get it. But also, it's just not unfair that some girls get into clubs for free because the bouncers are big pervs. Not all of them, disclaimer, but some of them are. So,
yeah. And then to counter that, Amy says, I'm the opposite. I've had guys get angry/pushy when I've refused a drink they bought. I'm trying not to get spiked. It's a rough world out there. See, that's right. But those spiky people have given nice people a bad name because there could be someone genuine out there who just wants to buy them a drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's different if you buy someone a drink and the bartender brings it to you. So I remember I was on a day sesh once, and then we walked into this place, and there was a girl. It was a birthday, because I had a couple of drinks, just like whatever. I was like, oh, she had a balloon and stuff. I was like, can you just go and get a birthday girl drinks? Like, I had no interest in anything. It was just a nice guy trying to make a difference, Jay. And there was no intent there, and I was just like, I just offered to buy someone drinks. It was the birthday. It was a nice thing to do, but to Amy's point, such is the way of the world is full of horrible people.
There absolutely is. It really is. And I think again, I'll just add on to this quickly before I move on. It's like I said, it's that expectation, but I also think, well, there should be a structure to it. So you can't just randomly go up to a girl you've never seen before and go, "Here, I've bought you that." Then yeah, definitely don't take it off.
Exactly.
But if you've struck up a conversation, like you have been vaping on the dance floor, and you've asked the DJ to not mix the song into another one, and you have been chatting to said person, and you want to have a good chat, and then say to them, "Can I buy you a drink?" That's the time to do it. Good ones, then, mate.
Here, love, drink this.
Yeah. Drink.
Can I add one in?
Go for it.
So I thought of this whilst I was reading some of those out, but pushes in.
Oh yeah.
Pushes in.
Oh yeah.
Pushes in, or people who don't own up and go, actually, mate, he's next.
He's next.
Always make sure that whoever I know, I scan who's in front of me, who's first, who right before me, and then go, actually, mate, I think you'll find that this person's next. And equally, I'm a really passive aggressive and go, if someone pushes in, go, oh, sorry, mate, I thought there was a queue here.
It's true, and I've also found that if you do, when the bartender comes up to you and says who's next, and you actually point out it's him who's next, you actually get served next regardless. I've noticed that a lot. Right, so I put the feelers out for everybody on the Facebook group, and you will not be surprised that we got a lot of feedback again. So the first one came in, and Martin Webster has just completely agreed with us. That says it's just the people. People are horrible. Becky replied saying, I second this. So yeah. But Becky also added to say that pubs are better. Chatting with people I like rather than being either creepily approached. Granted, this has gotten less with age, which is even more creepy, or the music being too loud and you have to learn to lip read. So yeah, completely agree with both of them. Especially the music too loud things. And what's the point in going out if you just can't hear each other? Phil Burke has agreed with us, saying pubs over clubs all day. But he's also said that people who don't know what the round is when they get served, so they still haven't made a decision at the bar, and they don't know what they're ordering, which is annoying. And then he's added to the fact, people who order Guinness last. I completely agree with that. That is beyond stupidity.
Yep. And people who don't get around him.
Yeah, those people who like conveniently go to the toilet when it's their round, or I've got to go now, and you think, nah, you tight get. Yeah.
Let's just buy our own. No, we're on a night out.
Correct.
Shipping.
Yeah, correct. Jude Bewley has said, the old perv in the corner who thinks he can pinch your bum in a club and get away with it. Definitely don't miss that. I just replied to her, said, sorry about my dad.
Oh.
She also says, paying a ridiculous amount for a drink in a club with flat lemonade or roller cola with a pinch of vodka. It's true that there's nothing worse than paying that amount of money and you're getting substandard product. Like, you can expect it on holiday to get like, the local vodka, but at least you get Coke because it's imported. But not over here. Yeah. You want to get the good stuff both times, don't you?
Sometimes, but that's when some clubs do like vodka Red Bulls, like 2 for £2 or something like that. It's not going to be the Red Bull, and it's not going to be Smirnoff vodka, is it? It's just going to be, no frills, quick save water.
But that's your expectations managed, isn't it? If that's how much it is, you're going to expect crap. Don't be paying £8 for one, and then you're getting crap because you can taste it. Sarah Worthington says clubs all day. Well, clubs. She says it's the music. She says, love the pub for a pint and a catch up, but that feeling when you're on the dance floor and your favourite tune comes on and then having a snog with someone else. Okay.
What was her name again? Let's write that down. What clubs does she frequent to?
But yeah, I mean, as you get older, like Sarah said, like she's. As you get older, she's hitting her 40s this year. So, like, if she walked into a nightclub now, statistically, you're probably one of the oldest in there. So you don't really have the desire, but like the nostalgia's there as well, which I do agree. But again, you now turn those into kitchen parties, don't you? You'd rather just get together in someone's house and put all that music on and have a good time that way. And sometimes they're sometimes the best night.
Yeah, because then you've also got the option just to go to your bed when you want.
Correct. And I've done that before when I used to live on my own, and I'd have a party and I'd be like, listen, I'm going to bed. You lot want to stay? Carry on. Sound. Just shut the door on the way out, or you can stay over.
I know, I kick people out, me.
Dear.
I kick people out. Yeah, I'm going to bed in 10 minutes. Get out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't have friends.
Charlotte Maxwell has said, this is taken for granted that you remember anything of the night. They're the best ones. So, like, if you can't remember anything, like, you get beer fear the next day, don't you? Where you go, oh, did I say something stupid, or did I do this, did I do that? I don't like beer fear.
2 questions. Are you a bad drunk texter or social media person?
I'm a nice drunk, so I'm not angry or miserable or cry. I get more friendly and tell everyone that I love them. But I don't usually text anybody when I'm drunk, unless it's Becky saying like, leave the key under the pot or something like that. I have been on social media. I've done it. I remember being, and this relates back to what we did a few weeks ago. I remember being on a works do for a previous company, and I just stood there, and it was a Christmas do, and I Instagram lived for the first and only time I've ever done that because Mr. Brightside was playing, and I was just kicking off. And then it wasn't until the next morning I had a couple of messages going, "Was you drunk last night?" And I go, "How do you know that?" Mr. Brightside playing. I went, "What are you on about?" You went, "Check your Instagram story." I was like, "Oh crap, delete." So no, I don't.
It's the worst, isn't
Don't
it?
really do that. Yeah. Why do you do that, Ross? Are you on social media when you're drunk?
Previously, I would have been, but I don't let myself get into that state anymore. But I go the same way as you. But it also depends what I've had to drink. You know, I go kind of like caring, lovable, like trying to be nice to people. But I also get like those kind of lines of confidence. Just go and think, oh yeah, fuck it, I'll text that person. That'll be fine. I'll say such and such, and it's just like, oh, it's just the regret the next day, or you post things on your Instagram stories, and then you wake up the next day and goes, who cares about that? Like, and then just end up deleting it. But yeah, it's the fear is real.
Yeah, be a fear, man. It's a tough one. Right, mate. That was good. That on clubs and nightlife. Again, if anybody's listening, and you've got anything you want to add to it, we can read them out for next week. Then just give us a message and let us know. But yeah, good that nightlife. Okay, mate. We'll finish off with some would you rather's. So see, you've put in a couple for us this week. So I will go ahead and ask you: would you rather never have to work again or never have to sleep again? And caveat to that is you won't feel tired or suffer negative health effects.
See, there'd have to be another caveat thinking about it. You'd have to have your finances covered, wouldn't you? I suppose.
You do this all the time with these would you rathers. You always pick another thing to throw in there. It's would you never have to work again or never have to sleep again, Ross?
Well, if I don't have to work again, I'm going to assume that means that I'm financially secure. But I would rather never have to sleep again.
I am definitely in the never have to sleep again one. Don't get me wrong, love me sleep. I think it's great, but if there is a statistic out there which I don't want to Google because I'll just cry my eyes out over it. But you spend a good portion of your life asleep. It's a good amount of years that you do spend asleep. So the fact that I won't be wasting any time, brilliant. And if I am still working but I'm not sleeping, I've got more hours to do my work. Not that I'm saying I'd work for 24 hours. I'm just saying you'd have more time in the day to get stuff done. So
it's a sense of purpose of having a job. I think like if I've never had a job, I'd just be like, what do I do with myself? I just find it hard at weekends as it is, or evenings to just do anything. So I just rather work.
Yeah, it's true.
Quite sad.
Would you rather have everything on your phone right now, like your browsing history, the photos, made public to anyone who searches your name, or never use a mobile phone again?
Never use my phone again. I think. It's just some private information. I'm a pretty private person, despite being on a podcast on YouTube. Some stuff I don't want sharing, I think. Family pictures and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. It's got to be kept private. Some people put their whole lives on the internet, and they really, really shouldn't. But I'm happy to never use a phone again. And I say that now, regardless of the caveat of would you rather have everything made public or don't use a phone. I'd rather not use my phone now. I would happily get rid of it if I wasn't, needing it in my life. So yeah, another good one. And the last one is: would you rather be transported permanently 500 years into the future or 500 years into the past?
The future, I'm going to go for.
Yeah,
because I'd love to see where in fact, it might have been me left on the planet, to be honest. Or maybe no one's here. Maybe nothing's here. Maybe robots are taking over at that point. But I'd love to see, the advancements in technology since I've been alive. I'm taking credit for it. It's been astronomical. I'd love to see where we are in 500 years' time.
Yeah.
But I also think it'd be a mess. And there's nothing that 500 years ago that attracts me. Unless I can invent things and take the credit for it.
Yeah, exactly. Because at least in the past, if you select that and you go, right, well, 500 years in the past, I know what I'm looking at because there's evidence of what happened 500 years ago. The evidence is there. So it could be very interesting. And especially how times back then were completely different and laws were pretty much non-existent and that type of thing, or they were a lot more harsh. You blow your nose and you get your head chopped off, that type of thing. But yeah, but I'm with you, mate. I'd rather go into the future because for the exact same reason is I'd want to see where we're at. Are we going to different planets now? You know, is that just the norm? Can we do that no problem because we're traveling at the speed of light and that's been invented and all that type of stuff? And yeah, I'd be very interested to see. And also as well, just to see like the legacy of like my family. If Freddie's carried on the generation and where we're at, you know what I mean? And if there's if I can figure out who's who.
In 500 years, you'll be a great granddad.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to see, and hopefully they've all got their hair as well, which would be good. But again, thank you very much for everyone who's listening. And again, people might not know this, but we're now on YouTube. Don't look at us, to be fair. I think this is the only one where we've actually been prepared in terms of the YouTube look of it. But yeah, the stuff's on YouTube as well if you actually want to watch us at the same time. But in the meantime, again, if you're listening while you're walking or running right now, do us a favour, pick up your phone, leave a 5-star review. Pick up your phone and leave a review. On Apple, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them. Don't forget to check out New Thinking. It's a magazine that me and Ross are very proud to be part of. We're working really hard to create some incredible content on there. And there's going to be loads of different types of podcasts that you can consume, and there's some amazing stuff on there already. Head over to newthinking.com for that. Ross, is there anything you'd like to add before we go?
The fact that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks we've been saying that new past podcasts are coming, and we actually have a new one now.
We do indeed. Check out Labyrinths with Amanda Knox and Christopher Robinson, because it is really, really good. And the new Blood Money series has just dropped on the website as well, so it's really, really good. And again, as always, we just would like any suggestions of anything you want us to moan about, anything that does your head in your lives. Let us know. We'll have a good cathartic DMC about it, won't we, Ross? Have a good few beers tonight, mate, and we'll catch you later.
I'm afraid I'm not really cut out for the modern world.